What's happening, everybody? Hey, Michael Hellickson here with Club Wealth, and man, I gotta tell you, I am so excited. You know, it's been a while. We haven't seen our Facebook Lives for a little while because, well, frankly, we've been like everybody else. We've been on vacation and having fun, and I was out whitewater rafting with Austin, and so we were out of connection for about a week. And so we decided when we came back, we wanted to come back with a bang, and we wanted to make sure that we came back with absolutely a Club Wealth TV that will blow you away. And so for that reason, my co-host, Mr. Brian Curtis, who all of you know is a Tier 4 Club Wealth coach. Brian is amazing. I mean, he's on track, he and his team, to do 350 transactions this year. They're freaking killing it. Brian is one of the smartest people I've ever met in real estate. And so Brian and I today are going to be chatting with Misti Bruton. And Misti is also a Club Wealth coach. Misti has an incredible story of how she literally went from the Lone Ranger to a world-class team leader and completely out of production in 9 months. So it's a crazy story. Cannot wait for her to share her story. So for now, let's start with Misti Bruton. Welcome to Club Wealth TV. Tell us a little bit more about who you are and where you're from.
Oh, awesome. Wow, what an introduction. I feel special. So my name
is special. What are you talking about? You're totally special.
Thank you. I feel it now. Thank you. My name is Misti. I am the owner broker for Avo Realty. We're in Austin, San Antonio, and coming soon will be Houston. We are literally, we are loving life. Having so much fun. So 9 months ago, I joined Club Wealth. Went out looking for a coach like a lot of people do in the business. I was truly a solo agent, flailing, not knowing which direction to go, not knowing which coach to choose, and literally, interviewing many different coaches, and just super thrilled that I chose Club Wealth. It has literally changed my life. So chose Club Wealth, got on a strategy call with Michael, knew I had found my home, and got started with my first coach, Rick, who truly helped me just build my foundation. And somewhere along the way, Michael Hellickson gave me the challenge. He said, it's time. You need to hire some buyer's agents. And I thought, nope, wrong girl. I'm good. My business is good. My production is better. But I was feeling a little overworked because, closing, I think I closed 40 deals the end of that year, finished out with 40 deals, and I was exhausted. Didn't have a transaction coordinator, but I was thrilled because my business was doing great. So Michael said, sorry, it's time, go for it, just do it. And I thought, probably did a few of the things wrong, but thank goodness I had a coach beside me to help me through it, because that's truly what Club Wealth has brought to the table for me, a network of people that I am surrounded by that, you know what, we're all going to make mistakes. We're all going to fail and, not necessarily fail, but have some side steps. And having a network of people there to answer the questions and keep me going in the right direction has been, I don't even know, phenomenal.
That's amazing.
Sorry.
So, okay, so now, and after all of that, not only did you then start hiring additional buyer's agents, and so you ramped up to how many buyer's agents?
There are 7 of us. There are 6 of us now. So that's with me not being in production. So what not being in production looks like is I still go on listing appointments. I enjoy real estate. I do it on my terms, though. I do when I want to. And I enjoy picking my clients versus working with clients that maybe aren't, maybe I'm not the best fit for them. So there's 7 of us, including me, and that doesn't include admin. So I have a team of 12 total.
That's awesome. So you went from 0 to 12 in essentially what, just about a year?
6 months.
In 6 months. Oh my gosh. That's awesome.
My first buyer's agent started in February. And and we gave, a 90-day ramp up. So honestly, we're only 90 days into what we've started creating production-wise as a team.
Oh my gosh, that's insane. Brian, I got to let you ask some questions. I got a whole bunch on my mind, but I know you're itching to ask some stuff, so go for it.
I do. So, it's amazing timing, Misti. So probably the last 25 minutes before we hopped on this today, I was talking to an agent who was talking about hiring a buyer's agent. we're talking about this. Do I hire an assistant? Do I hire a licensed assistant? Do I hire a buyer's agent? And my actual response was, you should hire both. But, that's another story for another time. But here's the question that I would love to ask you. Talk about if you don't mind, and it's going to be an invasive question, I apologize. What was your fear? Because we all have this fear. I don't want to hire a buyer's agent because X. What was your fear, and how do you feel about that same fear today?
Oh my goodness. Yes. No, I think that is an awesome question. There is so much fear around going from being a solo agent to hiring your first buyer's agent, or even hiring your first admin. Whatever your first hire is, there is more fear around that than I can even express. Mine was, what value do I have to bring to the table? Who am I compared to all these other brokerages out there that offer, all these other benefits? So I truly had to take some time for myself and sit down and really figure out what value I brought to the table. What is my vision? Where am I heading? Who do I want to attract to join me? And what value am I going to bring to these people? And once I got clear on that, it was easier to move forward and hire a buyer's agent. But every day brings a new obstacle. I'm always having to reach out to somebody in Club Wealth and say, what do you do in this scenario? What's the commission split in this scenario? Or what's the, because it's just, we're in a human business. It's very different. So that was my biggest fear, is the value add. What can I bring to the table? And then failure. What if? That was my biggest fear, is the value add. What can I bring to the table? And then failure. What if? Uh-oh. That was my biggest fear, is the value add. What can I bring to the table?
All right, Brandon, where's that coming from? Is that Misti? That's Bjorkman. Okay, we got Bjorkman. Dude, if I had a nickel for it. So we got to put Bjorkman through some technology trick. Come on, Mike. It's time, baby. It's time for you to go to Facebook 101. I'm totally joking, bro. I love you. All right, so we were getting a little feedback there because Mike had the live feed going at the same time he was trying to log in. But Misti, so wrap that up. So essentially what you're saying is, we lost that last part. Tell us where you experienced those challenges, and more importantly, how you overcame those challenges, because I think that a lot of people are facing some of the same challenges you mentioned. A lot of people feel like they're not bringing value, or how do I bring value? A lot of people are feeling like, okay, even if I feel like I'm bringing value, how do I articulate that? And why would somebody want to be on my team instead of being on their own?
It's a really good world out there. Is that going? On mine, down a little bit. Is that better?
Yes, yeah.
All right. Well, yeah. So getting clear on where I was heading as a team leader was probably the most critical part. The fear really came around the unknowns and not knowing, not being clear on where I wanted to head. I wasn't sure at that moment when I first set out to hire a buyer's agent that I truly wanted a team. So I had to really decide, where am I going to point my compass so that I can attract people that will want to join me? And then what value do I bring to the table as far as, okay, leads? Well, we can get leads, everywhere. What quality of leads do I want to give them? What training do I want to give them? Like, where do I ultimately want my role as a team leader to go? So that, I think, just sitting down and spending quality time with myself and really defining where I wanted to be. I don't want to be a babysitter. I don't want to be, I don't want to feel like I'm having to push people. I want to inspire people to do what they want to do. So I want to attract people that, have the same values that I do. But it came with just getting clarity and walking through that fear. That's never easy. You just have to, I learned in coaching, if you sense fear, walk through it. What's the worst that's on the other side? I can go back. I can go back to being a solo agent. Yeah, I may, if I want to. If it doesn't work out for some reason, that was my thought process, before I got where I'm at. Now I'm blissfully happy and all is good. But that's the worst case. Walk through it and go back to where you started if you don't enjoy it and start over.
So that's huge, and a lot of people. So I just call it ready, fire, aim, right? Like don't sit there and just plan all the time. Just take action, and it's really you're really talking about the principle of fail forward. Because we're gonna make mistakes, right? The reality is all of us are gonna make mistakes, but I think that the biggest mistake that most people make, and Brian and Misty, you guys can correct me if you think I'm wrong. I think the single biggest mistake that most people make is inaction. They just fail to take action. And they're afraid to fail. And, they're afraid to look bad. They're afraid to have to admit to the world that they failed somehow, that they didn't do what they said they were going to do, or they didn't succeed at something they tried. Here's the reality. The greatest success stories in the world are the people that failed the biggest and the most. Look at, how many times did Thomas Edison try and invent the light bulb? He failed thousands of times before he finally figured out the magic formula for the light bulb. Look at Michael Jordan. How many thousands of shots has he missed? How many game-winning shots? I think it was some crazy number. It was like, I want to say it was like 650 or something like that. Game-winning shots that if he had made the shot, they would have won, but he missed the shot and they lost the game like 650 some odd times. Like the people that succeed at the highest level are not afraid of failure. Do you think Michael Jordan, when he was playing ball, do you think he wanted the basketball? Do you think when the game was on the line? Absolutely. Even though he knew that he was, that he had failed 600 and some odd times at it, he still wanted the ball. And that's what I hear about you is you want the ball. You are ready to fail. You're like, look, I'm going to go in there and I'm going to get bloody, man. I'm going to get a bloody nose. I'm going to bloody my knuckles. I'm going to do whatever I got to do, but I'm going to figure it out. And I may have to fail at it a few times, but eventually I'm going to figure it out. And when I do, look out.
Yeah.
Am I close?
Oh my gosh. So that is exactly the quote that you're talking about, Michael Jordan. That is one that I truly live my life by, without a doubt. What do we have to lose? We're only on this earth for so long, right? Do we want to go out average, mediocre, or do we want to leave a legacy that, our family, our children, that's it. That's what is important to me. It's never about the money. It's never about the money. As long as my bills are paid, I have a few nice things, that I enjoy around me. The rest is truly about building a legacy and helping others walk through that fear too.
Yeah.
One of the things I'd like to talk about, Michael, and you see this fear all the time, and you and I talked about it last week when we were in Chicago, is one of the things, and I don't know, I'm going to guess just from listening to you, Misty, this was not what kept you from hiring buyer's agents, but one of my new favorite quotes, it's not mine, I stole it from somebody, but is that perfection keeps us from having greatness. Keeps us from being excellent. So too many people are going, I can't do that yet because I'm not perfect at it yet. I don't have the exact plan. I don't have the exact, here's the thing. And I told people on my morning huddle this morning, I said, look, guys, I would rather have you call 100 people badly than call one person perfect. Mm-hmm. So, we're not failing in real estate because we're not doing it perfect. We're failing in real estate because we're not doing it. And I love that that's exactly the opposite of what you did, that you took action. And really, that action's what gets us there. And, we don't have to be perfect. I see brand new agents get on the phone, fumble, go out and close deals. I see experienced agents get on the phone, well, that wasn't perfect. And then they think about it and they overdo it and they don't make more phone calls because they're so worried about being perfect. Just freaking do it. So anyway, thanks.
I love that, Brian. That is so absolutely true. It's true.
Go ahead. Sorry, Misty.
I had to give up trying to be perfect. I'm human. There's nothing perfect about humans. And truly just, that's it. Learning how to implement, that came with coaching. Having somebody there saying, I don't care what it looks like on the first run. Just do it. Just get out there and do it.
Okay, I got to channel my inner Shia LaBeouf now, right? It's just do it. I love that video. But, check it out. You're right. You do need to just do it. And, it's Brian, to your point, one of the quotes that I've heard often is perfection is the enemy of execution. And it's true. Like, there's so many people that get so wrapped up in, I got to get ready to do business. And it's like, no, like you just need to go do it. I had a call with somebody today, and it just kills me. This person is in coaching. They are a part of one of our teams that we coach, and they literally, this person still to this day is not consistently getting up in the morning, starting their day at 8 o'clock, getting on the phone, and staying on the phone and doing their lead gen, lead follow-up, and lead conversion until noon. What they're doing is they're getting up and they're checking their email. And as soon as they do that, it's like gone. It's like the day is over. It's constant putting out fires all day long. And it's like, you are missing the money. You are 3 feet from gold. All you got to do is quit checking your freaking email. Get out there, make a phone call, piss somebody off, right? Have somebody spit in your face. Have somebody tell you you're a jerk and don't ever call me again. Cool, tell me that. Get the little, lead gen bingo card, the cold call bingo card. Or really got, we got some cool stuff that we could share with you there. That'd actually be a fun one to post in this. But, you got to make it fun and you got to make it a game. But at the end of the day, you just got to do it. And Brian, I'm thinking back to you. And I'm thinking about when you and I first met. Here's Brian Curtis, this wicked smart guy, and he's doing really well. He's, but he's doing really well on his own. And you were working your tail off, right? And all of a sudden, you transitioned from this, I'm doing it on myself, to, dude, I want to build a team. Let's go for it. I'm ready. I'm going to build this team. And literally, in 7 months, you went from Brian Curtis to the Brian Curtis Group, or Curtis Realty Group, with from $225,000 in GCI to $675,000 in GCI, like that, like literally in 7 months. I want you to tell us about that, and then I want to come back to Misty and some more of what she's doing.
All right, so I didn't know we were going to talk about me, but okay, we'll do that. So, really, and it comes down to execution. Here's one of the things that I found very interesting, and I talk to a lot of my coaching clients about this, is here's the expensive part of real estate. I got to buy the leads, okay, but really buying the leads, if I'm buying a Commissions Inc., a Ylopo, a Boomtown, or whatever platform I'm in place, let's say that platform, for example, costs $1,500 a month. Every lead I add to it costs $5, let's just say, and I'm just throwing out numbers. But here's the reality. The platform is what costs the money, and the leads is cheap. So, and I think Misty can probably attest to this too. So one of the things that I didn't realize was I didn't want to add more people. And Michael and I had this conversation every Wednesday at 9 a.m., which is when we did our coaching call. And it went like this: how many leads are you getting? And I went, I'm getting this many leads. He said, great. So you need to go hire 6 more buyer's agents. And I said, great, I'm not going to. And that was our conversation for 6 months. So, and that's fine. What I would like to go back and tell that person is it's really not much more challenging to have 6 buyer's agents than it is to have 2 buyer's agents. And the reality is, I don't need to hire an extra admin when I have 6 buyer's agents. I can still use 1 admin. I don't need to get a separate CRM because I only need 1 CRM. Ultimately, each agent, once you get them in place, you've got a set number of sunk costs, and each agent starts to add value to your team, which allows you to add value back. One of the things that I think people don't realize is if you go up against me, if you go up against Misty in a listing presentation, I can spend twice, 3 times, 4 times the amount of money marketing someone's property because I've got a team. And I can make sure that the second it goes live on the MLS, 100% of it is perfect because I've got a guy, not me, but I got someone on my team who takes care of that. When I was a single agent and I was like, oh, crud, it's 9 o'clock at night. I guess I better go put that house that I listed today in the MLS. And that happened, not because I was a bad person, but because I've been working since 7 o'clock in the morning and I hadn't gotten to it yet. And so a team creates the leverage for you that allows you to be a better agent. And it's just mindset. If you are willing to accept the fact that you're going to have some people who are going to mess things up, if you're willing to accept the fact that it's going to be some work, the benefit for me personally, and I can't speak to everybody, is tenfold because, there's people who can go and do the things. Here's the thing. I was talking to somebody yesterday about this is there are people who would love to be a showing assistant for you in your office. Probably, I can't speak to your office, Misty, but in your office, there are agents who are brand new who would love to go show a house for you at Saturday at 3 o'clock when you're at your kid's soccer game. You know what? Give them the opportunity to do that. Pay them $50. They are thrilled to make $50, and you are thrilled because you got to go to your kid's soccer game. So we're all at different places in our journey. And one of the biggest reasons that I didn't want to hire buyer's agents at first is I assumed that everybody on the planet was like me, which is not remotely true. So why would someone want to be a buyer's agent on my team when they could go do it themselves? Because their personality says, I don't want to go do it myself. I want to be part of your team. Guess what? That's a win-win. And that's what we have to realize, that there are people who fit on your team and there are people who need to go out on their own. I don't know who those people are until I talk to them, until we come to an agreement. But the reality is there are people who are thrilled to be on your team. They don't like risk. They're risk-averse people. If I tell most people the amount of my monthly budget, that they want to throw up. Whereas for me, that's just part of the deal. I'm running a business. So, understand there are people out there who you are actually benefiting by being on your team, not people who you're just getting something from. It is a win-win, and as a matter of fact, if it's not a win-win on my team, you should leave. So I don't know if that answers the question, Michael, but that's kind of my thoughts.
Oh, it does. And, taking that a step further, you talk about your budget and, that most people would throw up if they saw the amount of your budget. You're absolutely right about that. What's really even taking a step further than that, and I'm talking to everybody that's watching this right now, because there's people watching this right now that are thinking to themselves, man, I want to go be a team leader. Okay, I want you to hold on to that thought for a second, because Brian and Misty, I'm not sure about you, Misty. I know Brian has, and I'm pretty sure Misty probably has, and if you haven't, you will at some point. But Brian, you've had some months where you've lost a lot of money in 1 month.
I had 2 months in a row last year where I lost approximately $12,000 each month. That was before I paid my personal bills. My business lost $12,000 a month. So that means not only am I short 12 grand on my business, I also haven't paid any of my personal bills.
That's
so,
right.
Those are rough months. Those are months that make you go, why on earth am I doing this? And, it's also those months that make you work harder, buckle down and become a better leader. Because you basically have the opportunity to walk away or do better. Those are the only two options at that point in time. At least they were for me. So
yeah, that's right. And so you had to push through that. And what's interesting, and Misty, have you lost money in a month yet? Have you had a big loss?
Not yet.
It's coming. I got news for you. It's coming. Get ready for it. But you better start putting some money away in those stores.
Absolutely, without a doubt.
Well, but so here's the thing, Brian. To your point, you're absolutely right. In months like that, that's when that's going to separate the wheat from the chaff. That's where it's decided, are you for real or are you a freaking joke, right? Are you doing what you need to do, and are you going to stick with it, and are you going to carry on, or do you need to just bail out because you're not going to make it as a team leader? And so for those of you that are watching thinking, I want to be a team leader, you need to ask yourself the question, am I ready and prepared to make sure that my team eats first? And I want you to seriously, like, all of you should be writing that down right now. My team eats first. Or you can write it another way. Team leaders eat last. We are the last ones to get paid, and that's the way it should be. And you know what? We're okay with that. We're okay taking that risk on, but you need to be asking yourself, am I ready to be in that position? If you are, being a team leader could very much be for you. Now, Misty, I want to come back to you because I'm sure you thought about this when you started your team. And again, here you were making a good living on your own, but it was all you all the time. How did you make that mindset shift from I'm going to be the Lone Ranger to my team's going to eat before I do?
That truly just comes natural to me. That's why I evolved into a team leader. I've got the nurturing side of me that wants so badly to help others before I help myself. And I tell my team that all the time. You won't see me driving fancy cars until every one of you is driving fancy cars, because it's not about that for me. And it truly, how did I shift the mindset? Honestly, with the help of coaching, getting clear on my own, where I want to end up, where I want to be as a team leader, and understanding the risks involved. So have I had a month where we have a functioning team and lost money? No. But ramping up to get a team was brutal. There was no income coming in. We increased our leads. My production was solely going into feeding, paying the bills and feeding, what was not quite thriving yet. Now my agents are starting to close deals. So we're starting to, revive that a little bit. But it's not for the faint of heart. That's for sure. And you have to have a huge heart and a want to help others. It can't be selfish. Selfish, you'll crash and burn.
Well, and to your point, there are teams out there where the team leader is selfish. They do exist.
Yeah.
And that being said, it's a lot harder for them to recruit. It's a lot harder for them to retain. People realize pretty quick where your heart really is. And so I'm 100% with you. If you don't have a heart of gold, like if you guys don't really, those of you watching this, if you don't really have the mindset that, look, I really do enjoy helping other people succeed, and I really am committed to, because a lot of it is you become a coach at that point, right? Whether you're, like Misty is a coach for Club Wealth, and so is Brian, right? That's one thing. But whether you're an actual coach for other agents or not, when you have a team, you're coaching the agents on your team on a regular basis. You have to motivate them. You have to inspire them. You have to help them. You have to answer their questions. You have to hold their hand. You have to answer the same question 100 times. It seems like at times. And it's hard way before it gets easy. I think that the myth out there, people see these team leaders making all this money and they think, oh my gosh, I want to be like Brian. I want to be able to drive a Mercedes or a BMW or what. I don't even know what you drive. Audi. I think you drive an Audi, right? Or whatever it is. But I want to drive this really fancy car and I want to be able to take vacations and spend all this money. Well, great. Then pay the freaking price. Like if you want that, you got to pay the price. That stuff doesn't come cheap. That comes with skin in the game. That comes with getting your face bloodied over and over and over again, and doing so while everybody else on your team is making way more. Mark this all off, right? It's funny. Ron and I were having this conversation one day, and it's like, I get it. I don't care. I don't care about the money. What I care about is building something that's bigger than any one of us. And when you can approach your team in that way, very different ball game. When you can approach your team, and there's a book. I'm going to show you guys this book. If you guys haven't read this, anybody watching this, if you haven't seen this book, you need this book. This is, what's that, Brandon? Oh, got to lower it a little. Is that better? Okay. The 5 dysfunctions. Can you see it? There it is. It's The 5 Dysfunctions of a Team by Patrick Lencioni. This book right here, you need to understand as you build a team, and Misty and Brian, you guys both have this. And do you guys have any thoughts or comments on this? Either one of you?
I just started it, actually. I put it on my Audible last week, and so I've just started it. But yeah, I'm loving what I'm hearing so far.
Brian, how about you?
I don't have any thoughts on that. So sorry, you teed me up. I haven't read this book. I'm sure it's an amazing book. If Michael says it's a book you should read, you should read. It's on my list, but I've got a long list.
This is the one book, I'll tell you this, and I would challenge both of you as well as everybody watching this. If you're going to build a team, or if you're part of a team, if you're a member of a team, whether you don't have to be the team member, the members of the team, everybody on a team should read this book right here. It's Patrick Lencioni's The 5 Dysfunctions of a Team, and it really talks about what it takes to build a world-class team. And look, let's call it what it is. I could be a buyer's agent on a team, not have all the responsibility, not have all the risk, have lead flow happening for me. All I got to do is follow up with leads. I'm going to do some open houses and follow up with my sphere and that stuff too, but I'm getting fed leads on a regular basis. All I got to do is follow up with those leads, go out, show them a house, write them up, hand the transaction off to somebody else, and go do it again. And I don't have to worry about that transaction from there forward. I don't have to take all the risk. And guess what? As I do that, I can literally make 100, 200, even as much. We've seen buyer's agents that make as much as $500,000 a year net take-home income. I mean, that's insane income, right? As a buyer's agent without, now that's unusually high, but still that's a killer net income. And it cracks me up because agents out there think, okay, well, I'm out there and I'm making, 200, let's say an agent thinks they made $250,000 in a year. No, you didn't. Let's look at your P&L. Show me that. And so let's switch gears to that conversation for a minute. Brian and Misty, and so we'll start with Misty. Misty, tell us about what it was like for you to start learning to live on a P&L, and how important is that, and is that making a difference in your business?
Absolutely. So I'm not a numbers girl. I don't like numbers. It's never been about the money. So when I joined Club Wealth, Michael, my coach, everybody was like, tell me your numbers, tell me your numbers. I don't know my numbers, but I do now because it's critical. So we use a spreadsheet and I live by it. I have to know forecasting where we're going. I have a lot of money going out every month and it is expensive. So knowing my numbers is also part of knowing where am I growing? Am I dying? Like where's the health of the business? Not only where am I going and am I heading in the right direction, but I'm responsible for a team now. It's not just me. It was easy as a solo agent. Oh, I have a lot of money in the bank, no big deal. But now, I've got to watch out for the health of my business. I've got to make sure that, my agents are on track to do what they need to do. So yeah, I live by a spreadsheet now. So it's critical to it all.
Brian?
I have spreadsheets. And I think more important than P&L is looking, and this comes from the P&L, so I'm just taking that to the next level. I'm not trying to discount P&L. But if I look at, okay, so I spend $500 a month on Zillow, how many closings am I getting off of Zillow? What's my ROI? Because here's the thing. If I've got $10,000 a month to spend, I'm just picking that random number, I need to spend it in the right place. And if I can take $1,000, move from this lead source over to this lead source, and the ROI on that is double, then oh my gosh, I can literally spend the same amount of money and make more money. And so I'll say this, and it's interesting. So I'll suggest a book too as we're talking about books, but The Millionaire Mind, T. Harv Eker. So I hear all the time, and I'm not in any way dogging on you, Misty. Please don't take it that way. Money's not important to me. You know what? Nobody in the country is looking for bigger piles of dirty paper. So that is what money is. However, what we're all looking for is what money can do for us. And what I mean by that is it's not necessarily you can buy a Mercedes, or by the way, my Audi I bought was used. So it's not about buying more stuff. It's not about buying bigger stuff. It's not about going on bigger vacations. It's about the things that motivate you. So, I mean, I've talked to agents who their motivation is they want to give away $100,000 a year. Well, guess what? To give away $100,000 a year, you got to make $100,000 a year plus whatever your expenses are. So, you know, in this country, we say things like money is the root of all evil and all that kind of stuff. And, you know, one of my favorite things to look at money is whoever you are, if you have more money, it will just make you more of who you are. And that's really all it comes down to is if I'm a generous person when I'm broke, when I have a bunch of money, I'm going to be a generous person. If I'm a stingy person when I'm broke, when I get a lot of money, I'm going to be a stingy person. It doesn't change who you are. It just amplifies who you are. So if you're a good person who makes a bunch of money, you're going to go do good things.
So that was good. I like what you just said. You just hit a nugget there. It's money doesn't change who you are. It amplifies who you are. That's something, man. If Natasha or Tara or somebody, if you guys could type that in, I would love to see that in the comments. That money doesn't change who you are. It amplifies who you are. I completely agree. So, and by the way, for those of you that are watching right now, we always run a contest. Whoever asks the best question. So for every question that you ask, if you're on the Club Wealth Facebook page or in the Club Wealth Mastermind group on Facebook, you can ask your questions right there, and we will get to your questions. We'll answer your questions live on the air right now. But one of the other things I want you to know is you're going to get, for every question you ask, you're going to get an entry into our annual Hawaiian vacation giveaway drawing. So we literally give away, it was last year, Pilar Scott Walker and Elgin Walker got to go. They won the trip. We sent them first class airfare to Hawaii. When they went to Maui, they got to be on the beach at the Ka'anapali Marriott. They had an oceanfront view room. It was amazing. And so definitely, you're going to get an entry for every question you ask. And then in addition to that, we're going to give you, the person that asks the best question is going to get 5 entries into that Hawaiian vacation giveaway drawing. So that being said, let's come back to Misty. So Misty, I want you to, Mike, is your mic now? Bjorkman, are you there?
No.
I thought for a second there we were hearing Mike. Okay, so he's still dealing with internet issues. So one of these days we'll get that dialed in. So Misty, let's come back to you.
Yeah.
So talk to us about the recruiting process, and then and then after we talk about that, I want to go to how are you helping those buyers agents? What are they experiencing when a new agent comes on your team? What are they experiencing? How are you helping them get over the challenges that they have? And then we're going to get Andy Conch just asked a great question as well. So start with the recruiting process, Misty.
Yeah, recruiting. So am I tell me echo?
Someone's got an echo.
We've got a bit of an echo. Let's mute Mike out again.
Yeah, right ahead.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, recruiting. It is a challenge nonstop going. You know, we have gotten to the point now where we're starting to attract some agents, people that have watched us and kind of followed us as a team. So that's a cool change. But recruiting has become my prospecting. Instead of prospecting, I'm literally calling and reaching out to agents, trying to recruit on our team. We are a new team, so we've only been, a team for 6 months and truly only 90 days, where we've actually had everybody on the team. So we kind of have taken it a little bit slow. I didn't want to experience too much growth. So I have just started, literally turned my prospecting into recruiting, looking in the MLS, trying to find who is actually working, but not maybe producing at a level that they would like to. So, in agents that maybe closed 5 to 10 deals last year. So reaching out, we're going to start doing some recruiting events where we're inviting them just to get to know us. I've reached out to title companies, professional networks, trying to attract the right people. I don't want to attract the wrong people. The wrong people will change the dynamics, and that's not where I'm headed. I don't want huge amount of growth, but recruiting is a struggle. I mean, I hear top level agents within Club Wealth. It's a common theme across the table where, what are you doing to recruit? Where do you get new people? But it's, I don't know. I'd love to hear more creative ideas, but we're going to be growing a lot in the next probably 90 days going forward. That's going to be the theme of the next 90 days for me, recruiting. I'd like to double our team.
Okay. So Brian, did you have something you want to comment on that?
No, go ahead.
Okay, so I thought maybe you had a comment. So here's the first and foremost, what I'm hearing you doing is you're going out, you're doing events, you're reaching out to agents in the community. So you're bringing value to agents around you, which is huge. I just had this conversation with Damon. We were having the exact same conversation about going out and creating what's called an agent outreach program, which is where you're literally spending loads and loads of time, effort, energy, and it takes that, but you're spreading positive stuff out there with the agents. You're holding events for them. You're contacting every time you have a cross sale with an agent. You're reaching out to that agent. You're bringing, and your focus of the call is to bring value to them, to get feedback on how your agent and how your team did. And when they give you feedback that's not great, that's an opportunity for you, right? So if somebody says to you, oh yeah, your agent sucked, or your administrative team member was horrible and treated me like crap, or whatever, that's like, you need to be excited about that, because that gives you the opportunity now to do 2 things. One, you get to fix a problem in your office. The next thing that you get to do is you get to reach back out to that agent. You get to say, first of all, when I'm on the phone with them, I'm going to say, man, Susie, I really, really appreciate that feedback. It means a lot to me that you're sharing that with me. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go back and I'm going to have a conversation with my team, and we're going to figure this out. And I'm going to make sure we implement systems to make sure it never happens again. Then you actually do go back to your team. You have the conversation with your team, and you figure out what systems we need to put in place to make sure this never happens again. And then you call that agent back and you say to that agent, you say, hey, look, Susie, you absolutely did us a huge favor. You gave great feedback. We needed to hear it. We had a hole in our business. You helped us plug it. I owe you. I would love nothing more than just to spend, can I take you out for some coffee, or maybe even take you out for lunch and just sit down with you and just network with you, just mastermind with you, and somehow bring value to you? Would you be willing to just sit down with me for a little bit? Because now that we fixed this problem, I owe you a favor back. Whole different ballgame. Now you get to go to lunch with them. You have a great conversation. You bring them value there. You tell them about, first of all, you ask them about their business. You find ways that you can help them with their business. Then you come back and you say, okay, look, so what questions do you have of me? And they're going to ask you about things like lead generation, all that kind of stuff. Give them the best you got. Share your best ideas with them at that point. And then at the very end of the conversation, you say, so, by the way, have you ever thought about being part of a team? Is that something that might interest you? What if we did all the lead generation for you? What if we did, and all of a sudden now you've got that great opportunity to potentially bring them into your team. But you've done it from a truly genuine perspective. And if they're not interested, that's okay. At least you've brought them value during that time. And if you'll do this with every single agent you come in contact with, it's insane. Another thing that Damon's doing that I think is huge is run contests, right? Run a contest for all the agents in your market. Say, okay, whoever sells the most listings of ours, whoever, every time you show one of our listings, you get an entry into the drawing. Every time you show one of our listings, every time you sell one of our listings, you get, 10 entries into the drawing. Whatever you do, come up with your scale. But at the end of the year, give away a trip to Hawaii, or give away something big, something of value, and do it at an event that you hold. It's kind of like a client appreciation event, but you hold the event for the agents in your area. So you invite all the agents in. You even maybe could take it to the level where you do some cool awards, top listing agent in our market, top buyer's agent in our market, top team in our market, the most fun to work with, just whatever. You come up with some really cool stuff, and you let these agents get involved in voting on it. You could run a Survey Monkey, and now you get to host that event. You get to give the awards away. Yes, it costs you some money, but you also get the freaking spotlight. And now people are like, oh my gosh, this is not a normal agent. This is somebody that actually cares about us as agents and recognizes our value when we're showing houses of theirs. You can even give an award away for the person that showed our listings the most. It doesn't have to be the biggest producers in your area that get credit and kudos for this. So anyway, lots of great ideas on that. I want to jump to, by the way, did Brian or Misty, do you guys have anything to add to that before we jump to some questions?
That's awesome. I'm making notes as you're saying all that. That's awesome.
Brian?
No, I think it's a great idea. One of the easiest ways to recruit people, and I'm going to take a step back from Michael's more grander idea, which I think is an amazing idea. We actually have some people who are doing something similar to that in my market. But one of the things that I heard you say indirectly is, we do a lot of transactions. If you're a team leader and you're a listing agent on your team, kind of like Misty is, kind of like I am, kind of like most people are. I mean, that's really the hierarchy as we look at it. You're going to start as a listing agent probably on your own team once you hire some buyer's agents, and then you'll stay in that role for quite a long time, and potentially forever. And there's nothing wrong with that. I think you were a listing agent on your team, Michael, right?
Yeah,
so
right.
My point is, that you're going to interact with a ton of buyer's agents because they're doing it. The best phone call, the easiest phone call is, hey, Michael, you and I just had an amazing transaction together. Let's go have lunch. And that's all it has to be, because the truth of the matter is you already have a relationship with that person. It's no longer a cold call. The worst thing that happens, you go have lunch, you have a good time, and that's it. Yet, theoretically, you got to eat sometime anyway. So, that's a great, easy way to recruit people. And here's another thing that we didn't necessarily bring up. Motivate your agents to recruit people. Give them a reason. So, I offered something like, okay, so you can have 5% of the first 3 deals of anybody you recruit on the team. So, use your agents, and because create win-win. Everything that we try and do is about win-win. We've had agents initially say, hey, I was talking to Bob the other day. He's a great guy. He should come on our team. Well, you know what? I should reward them for that. Because obviously it's expensive to recruit people, and it's the thing that I'm spending time at. It's the thing that you're spending time at, Misty. So, take those opportunities. Don't stand right in front of a perfect opportunity and not see it, I guess is what I'm saying.
Well, you're 100% correct, Brian. It is expensive to recruit, and it's. Let me tell you, when you're a team leader, you truly do. To Misty's point, much earlier in our conversation, Misty mentioned how she's transitioned from, she doesn't prospect for buyers and sellers anymore. She's now prospecting for agents. Recruiting is her new prospecting, and rightfully so. When I talk with team leaders, we do this all the time on strategy sessions. I talk to them about this all the time. So, if I go out and I get a listing, right, and it takes me from start to finish, from all the lead gen I got to do and all the follow-up calls, and then going on the appointment, driving there, doing the appointment, driving back, and then I got to deal with the transaction on the back end, whatever I'm doing. If I said it took about 20 hours per listing to get a closing out of that listing, and I did the math on what that works out to for me on a dollars per hour basis, there's a big difference between that and the dollars per hour I make in the whole process of, I'm going to recruit agents, I'm going to train those agents, I'm going to help those agents, I'm going to hold them accountable, I'm going to provide them with tools, systems, technologies, all this other stuff. And I break that down into an hourly basis, because there's net income is very important. Dollars per hour is perhaps the most important key performance indicator that I have for me, because I've only got so many hours in the day. So I want to get my dollars per hour up as high as I possibly can. I want to make more money in less time. When I was doing $450,000 a month in gross commission income, I was working 12 days a month. That's a lot better than making $1 million a month in income and working 24/7, right? And so as I look at this, and I look at, for a team leader, what's the highest dollar productive activity a team leader can do? Guess what? It's recruiting. Bottom line, it's recruiting. That's where you make the most money. And then second highest dollar per hour activity that you can do is training your team. So the 2 most important things I can do as a team leader are recruit and train, and have a ninja team. So we have some questions. And so, does anybody have anything else on those items before we move on to questions?
Questions?
Okay. So Kristen Kalski has a great question, and she asks, by the way, shout out to Kristen at Mike Bjorkman's office. What's up? It's good to see you. And so Kristen's asking, I want to build a team. How do I create a track for that? So how do I get started building a team? Even though I'm in my first year as an agent, I've been in the industry a long time, but I really want to build a team. So we're going to go out to you, Misty, with that. How do we start the track of building a team?
How do you start the track? Well, one, it's getting clear on what you want. So if you know that you want a team, it's making sure, if you've got a broker, if you're with a brokerage, whatever, making sure what they allow, and then defining truly what your limits are on building a team. So I always ask somebody, but clients that I'm coaching, before they start to build a team, are you happy where you're at? And if you're happy where you're at, then find out what the limitations might be, or where you can go with it, so that in advance, and then just set out and do it. Make sure you're financially secure. You probably need 6 months in the bank to make sure you're comfortable there. And then honestly, just do it. Like Hellickson says, just honestly go out and hire your first buyer's agent. Just do it. That's what I had to do. I planned and thought, the perfect time will come. But honestly, I just had to step through that fear and just do it. So financially secure, that would be a big part of it.
So, and you hit the nail on the head. You got to just go out and you got to hire that first person. So here's the other thing you've got to look at. I would say hire 2 people. Never just hire one. And Brian, I know saw that coming. And Brian's like, yep. And it's kind of a crude analogy, but I always say you want 2 pigs at the trough, right? And so, and don't be offended if you're a buyer's agent. And I'm not saying you're a pig. That's not my point. My point is, we want to, if I've got one buyer's agent on my team, or let's back up to the pig thing. So if I'm a farmer and I'm raising pigs, my goal is I'm going to feed this pig. It's going to eat the food from the trough, and it's going to gain weight and get, gain weight over time. And eventually I've got bacon, right? Well, bacon's good. We like bacon. So that being said, I got to make sure that if I have a second pig at the trough, they'll compete for the food and they'll both get fatter faster, which gives me bacon sooner. And so what I want to do is I want to get the bacon faster. And so you always want 2 pigs at the trough, and it's really good for the pigs, right? So here's what I'm saying. If I've got more than one buyer's agent on my team, they help each other. There's synergy that is created between those 2 buyer's agents, and it's less competitive, more collaborative, right? But the point is that they help each other, and they both make more money faster, and they're happier, and they're having more fun, and they're getting more done, and it's better for everybody. So I would say go out, if you're thinking about starting a team, go out and hire 2 buyer's agents right now. Just get them on your team, and then give them great systems, tools, technology, leads, back-end support, give them everything they need to be successful, and just bite the bullet and just do it. So Brian, anything to add to that?
Yeah, so here's something that this is real simple, and have a CRM. So I know that I think we make assumptions. Misty and I have been, we look at our teams and we go, oh yeah, one point in time in my business, I didn't have a CRM. And I forget that sometimes. Until you have a CRM, you don't have a business. You should not hire a buyer's agent if you don't have a business. Because here's the thing. If I hand you a lead, Mr. Buyer's Agent or Miss Buyer's Agent, what do you do with it? Well, I'm going to call them. Okay, great. What happens when you don't get a hold of them? Well, I'm going to call them again. Well, when are you going to call them again? Well, with the CRM, you're basically creating a system. Oh, I can do it this time and this time and this time and this time, and I know who to call. And if I got to call them in 4 months from now because they're not ready for 8 months, 50% rule, then I can put an appointment in there for myself to call them in 4 months. And oh, by the way, I can email drip them all along the way. So I can invite them to my client events. I can invite them to all this stuff. But if you don't have a CRM, you don't have a business. And, I was talking to somebody earlier today. I can do 50 transactions a year on sticky notes. That's not impossible. It's not the way I want to live. But the truth of the matter is, when you start talking about building a team, you're talking about hundreds and then thousands, and that's not an exaggeration, of people who are going to be in your system. And if you don't have a way to follow up with them, if you don't have something in place, then it's just a crapshoot.
Yeah, you're right about that. And it does. And a lot of people, when they hear you say get a CRM, I'm thinking a lot of people are probably a little nervous about that. They're probably thinking, oh my gosh, I got to go get Commissions Inc. or Ylopo or another, $1,000 plus platform to be able to run a team effectively. And the reality is, it doesn't have to be that yet. Eventually, yes, you want to upgrade to a killer platform like that. In the beginning, if all you had was a top producer or like a Wise Agent or a Lion Desk or any number of other ones. Brian, are you trying to make a comment there?
Lion's Desk is what I would say.
Lion's
really
Desk,
cheap.
yeah, there you go. Perfect example. Even if you have any one of those, it doesn't have to be this amazing CRM to start with. It just has to do the job. And most importantly, it has to do a couple of things. One, it has to track all of your leads. So you've got to have them all in there, and you must, no matter what, be able to have a next follow-up date attached to each and every one of them. Those are the two most important things it can do. Brian, you've probably got some other thoughts.
And simple. So here's the best CRM in the world. It's the one that you use. And that's really what it comes down to. Is honestly, again, I closed a lot of deals on a yellow pad of paper. There's an agent who lives about 45 minutes from me, and she closes 30+ million a year. And she brought her CRM one time to one of our meetings, and she's an older agent, but still an amazing lady. And she had a pad of paper. So I personally can't do pad paper. My brain doesn't work that well. But the truth of the matter is she has a system and she has it in place. Again, I'm not suggesting that. What I am suggesting is something like say, Lion's Desk, I think someone told me $199 for 3 years or some ridiculously cheap thing like that. It's literally a place that's going to track your leads. And until that happens, you don't have a system. And here's worse. If I hire you as a buyer's agent, I have to give you a system. If I don't give you a system, why are you on my team? So, it's amazing. People go, well, I just want to go hire a buyer's agent. Okay, so understand that you have to bring them value. You have to be willing to provide them leads. You have to give them a system. You have to show them value, or otherwise they will leave. So, but if you do that, they'll stay, because you know what? They don't want to go deal with it. They don't want to build the system. You've already built it for them. That's
right. That's a very good point. Okay, so we got a couple other great questions. So we've got, first we're going to go to Melanie Carney, who's asking about, I want to hear more about the hiring and onboarding process, as well as team management, CRM, and accountability tracking. So kind of in general, how do I technically run this team? So Misty, let's start with you.
So I'll be meeting with my team next week, actually, to go over all the goals. So I have what I call a roadmap to success. It is something I took from Club Wealth, the very first BSM last year. It is a fill in the blank.
I was looking for mine. I'm trying to find it. It just disappeared on me. I don't know what happened to it.
I apologize. My lawn people are here and they're being loud, so I hope it's not going to get too distracting. But I have a roadmap to success, and it literally is a fill in the blank from BSM, and that's what we kind of do with this roadmap. You know how many calls you need to make for success. You know how many deals. Ultimately it's based on what do you want your income to be at the end of the year. The agent defines that, and then we can work backwards, fill in the blank, and they have a roadmap for success. And if they pick up the phone and do what they need to and follow up with the systems that we have, then, it's a success and a win for everybody.
Yeah. Brian?
So in my opinion, onboarding is the #1 thing that's missing in our industry right now. And we have some, there's some people who have some good onboarding. This is how you join the MLS. This is how you fill out the paperwork for our office. This is what you need to do to, we have a great system for putting people in our technology. That part is good. Here's where it's missing, and here's where we're developing it, and I guess hopefully maybe something to come. But it's sales training. So my biggest pet peeve in real estate about people who get their license is, well, I got my real estate license, now what? And which is why it's a great opportunity for put people on teams, because there's not a line of people standing outside the office looking to buy and sell houses. It's not 1983 when people actually came to the office and said, I'm looking for an agent. That doesn't happen anymore. So, that's an opportunity for us. So as far as onboarding goes, though, you just have a system in place. And then if you already have a couple of people on your team, make sure you have a mentorship program. Make sure that they have some people that they can talk to, because the reality is you as a team leader are doing about 27 different things in any given day. And I want people to be able to talk to me, and I try and make myself available, but the reality is we don't. So we actually use GroupMe, for example, as a great opportunity for people to basically it's a group texting thing, and that thing blows up all day long. And I read it and I look at it, and if anyone says something crazy, I kind of chime in, but otherwise I just let the agents help each other. And one of the most powerful things is mastermind and synergy. And that's, Think and Grow Rich, they talk about that. Get in a mastermind, and that, if you've got 3 or 4 people who are all commenting on a question, problem, or concern, then you're creating a mastermind. And we can create masterminds simultaneously, instantaneously throughout the day with technology. So use that technology to leverage yourself and to leverage your team. There's some great people on your team, maybe. Let them help. And you know what? Most people like to help. I love to help. When I wasn't a team leader, I love people listen to me. So, people like that.
So, and to answer, so I'm getting a couple of questions here. I've got Eddie is asking and Angie's asking, where can I get a copy of that roadmap? And so here's where. So, and I posted the link in both the comment threads in the Club Wealth Facebook group, as well as on the Club Wealth Facebook page. You come to Business Strategy Mastermind Conference, and to Amy Freeman, shout out to Amy. We love you, Amy. To Amy's point, be there or be square, right? You got to come to the Mastermind. When you come to the Mastermind, it is truly the Business Strategy Mastermind Conference. And so we literally are going to go through all of that there. You'll get the roadmap, and you'll also get to fill it in for yourself at that event. So you'll walk out of there with your next year ready to go, all planned out, and it's awesome. And by the way, we actually guarantee for everybody that comes to that event that if by the end of day 2, you don't believe that it's the best real estate event that you've ever been to, you come to me or come to a member of our team, and we will literally refund 200% of the cost to attend. We will literally refund 200% of your ticket price. Now you'll have to leave at that point, right? So you don't get to stay. But let me tell you, we'll happily refund 200%. I guarantee it. We've never had to refund anybody's money. Nobody's even asked us for a refund, and I doubt anybody ever will. But if you do, happy to give you 200% back. So come to the event, you can get it there. All right, so got a couple other quick questions. We're running out of time, so we got to do these fast. In terms of managing, and I hate the word managing, so I want to roll that back right now. I want to take management out of it. We don't believe in managing teams. We believe in leading teams. There's a big difference. You lead by example. Management is, I got you under my thumb. I'm going to make you do what I want. Leadership is, you're going to want to follow me through the fire because I'm going to go first, and I'm going to take all the risk, and I'm going to show you the way, and I'm going to do everything I can to help you be successful and to protect you in the process. I got your back, and for that reason, you're going to want to be a part of what we're doing. So there's a big difference between leadership and management. Now, that being said, the single best thing that I believe you can do on a daily basis in leading your team is the daily huddle. I cannot stress this enough. Every single day, you need to have a huddle with your team it's literally 20 to 30 minutes every morning on the phone or on a webinar. It doesn't have to be in person. And it's literally an opportunity for you to work with your team, to answer their questions, to help them with what they got going on, to hold them accountable, to give them more insights, all of this stuff. There's a lot of things that happen there, that really that is the venue for it. And what that also does is it means that now throughout the day, I'm not getting, bombarded with questions and interruptions in my day, and nor is my staff, my team, my administrative team members are able to focus on what they need to do. Very, very important. The amazing, the team huddle is, and there we go. So it looks like Natasha just posted we did a blog post on the team huddle, and we posted that in the Facebook group, and it looks like she posted it on the page as well. All right, so there's that, and then we got we're running out of time. We got to go to the next one. Okay, David Kelly asks, great question, David. This one's for Misty. We're going to start with Misty on this. Misty, how do you know you've hired the right buyer's agents?
Wow, David. So David, I'm guessing, David, this is my David from my team.
It's David Kelly.
Yeah, I know when I know that we have values that are aligned and they inspire me as much as I inspire them. So we have, and I also know when we have a good mix on our team. So we have an awesome mix on our team. Everybody brings something good, new to the table every day. And honestly, it's you just got to go with your gut. We can train them. We don't hire necessarily for talent. We hire for loyalty and those that see the value that we bring to the table. We can train talent. So it's really a personality thing and the dynamics that they bring to the team.
I love it. Brian.
You know what? I'm going to echo exactly what Misty said. I hear people all the time talking about, well, we need to have this disc profile and this, that, the other, blah, 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 blah. Take this test. There's a KPA and an ABC and an EFG. I don't know what any of those things are, and I don't care. So ultimately, what I want to do is if I sit and have a conversation with this person, are they going to get along with the people on my team? Are they going to be in culture, and are they willing to work? Because here's the thing, guys. Real estate is not – real estate is simple. It's not easy. It's a lot of work, but it's simple. There's about 25 things that you need to learn to do to be a good real estate agent, and we can teach you those things. Now, some will be better than other people, but at the end of the day, I'm not always looking for someone who's going to do, $1 million of production a year. I want someone who's going to be on my team, support the other members of my team, support me, I support them, and at the end of the day, we all have a good time, and we like being together. I'd rather have that than a guy who's doing 100 transactions a year who's creating poison. So,
but you just hit the nail on the head. You said the words "be in culture," and this is so important, you guys. I want you to hear this. People have to be a good fit for your team. If they're not a good fit for your team, they may be a cancer. Yeah, and if they're a cancer, you're going to lose good ones. You got to get rid of the cancers right away. You take wicked good care of the people that are the right fit for your team, and the ones that aren't, it's, hey, we wish you the best of luck. Have a nice life. We'll see you at a cross sale sometime, maybe, if you manage to go do a transaction. So anyway, that's terrible. I shouldn't say that. But my point is, Brian, and Misty, you're absolutely correct. We always say that, we hire for attitude and we train for skill. I don't need people with all the skills in the world. I need people with the right attitude. And when we have a team that's got the right attitude, we cannot fail. We will succeed because we all have the right attitude and we're all in it for the right reasons. Okay, you guys, we are out of time. This has been an amazing Club Wealth TV. I really appreciate the insights that you brought. Misty, we love that you came on the show. And for those of you that would like to hear more from Misty, could you make a comment in the feed here? Just, let me know if you want to hear more from Misty. I have a feeling there's some people out there that would like to hear more from Misty, and I'm one of them. And so that being said, Misty, thank you so much for coming. Brian, and by the way, Misty is don't forget, if you guys have referrals in Austin or San Antonio and soon to be Houston, Misti Bruton her team covers those areas. Brian Curtis, of course, is the king of Bentonville, Arkansas. Some of you have no idea where that is. That's okay, neither did I until I met Brian. But apparently Walmart knows exactly where it's at. So Brian knows where we're going to that. But, if you've got referrals for either of those areas, please contact Misty, contact Brian. They'd love to help you with your referrals. And if you would like to get on the phone with a Club Wealth coach, if you would like someone, and by the way, all of our coaches are literally producing at a higher level than the people they coach. So if you want to get on the phone with one of our coaches that produces real estate at a higher level that you do, someone that sells more real estate than you are right now, and you want to spend an hour with them, picking their brain and just learning from them and having them look into your business, figure out what's working for you, what's not working for you, what you are doing now and what you should be doing, and what you're willing to do to get to where you want to go, we will literally help you build your roadmap. All you got to do is either comment in the comments here. We'll reach out to you, or you can go to clubwealth.com/strategy session. We'll set up an appointment to meet with you. And so now we're going to go to final thoughts from Brian and Misty. So we'll start with Misty. Final thoughts for the day.
Just do it. If you're thinking about hiring a buyer's agent, just do it. You guys, the fear does not go away until you walk through it. You can always go backwards. Just do it. Move forward. Don't ask questions. You're surrounded by people. If you're getting coached by Club Wealth, you're in the right place to build a team. Just do it. We're all muddling through it ourselves.
I love it, love it, love it. That's fantastic. Thank you for that. Brian Curtis?
So I'm going to echo what Misty said, but I'm also going to say this. Create win-wins. If you're worried about what your team's going to look like, if you're worried about if I'm doing the right thing, just ask yourself one simple question. Is it a win-win? Am I getting benefit? Are they getting benefit? If that's the case, the reason you have to do it for yourself is so you'll keep doing it. And the reason to keep people on your team is you're creating wins for them. So create win-win situations and people will love it. They will stay on your team. You'll build a great culture and you'll never want to be a solo agent again.
I love it. That's fantastic. Okay, and I completely agree, by the way. If it's not win-win-win, it's not worth doing. So great stuff. All right, so the winner today, I think we've got to give the winner to the best question. I'm going to go with Kristen Kalski. I think that she asked several very good questions. So, Kristen, you're going to get the 5 entries. Everybody else that asked a question today and that continues to ask questions in the thread, we're going to give you each a point in the Hawaiian Vacation giveaway drawing. My final thought for the day is simply this. Inside each one of us, there is a world-class beast just dying to get out. You got to decide to let that beast out. Only you can decide that today you're going to be world-class. Maybe you weren't yesterday. That's okay. Maybe you won't be tomorrow. Who knows? Maybe the people around you don't think you're world-class. Don't let that stop you. You go let your light shine. You go be world-class today, and we'll see you on the next Club Wealth TV. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.